Hello and welcome to Great Whale Investing. Today I'm going to be talking about what Rudy did for the Magic Finance world. I This is just a small starting up channel, Great Whale Investing, but I gotta say I was inspired by Rudy. A few years ago, he started his YouTube channel. He's somebody who's always been in the magic finance realm of some sorts, but nobody know who he was or anything. And he's always had this philosophy that Magic the Gathering cards are highly investable, like like a commodity. And he is famous now for putting a lot of money into it and a lot of chatter, and it's one of the largest YouTube channels on Magic. Period. Talks about Magic finances, and I'm definitely of the opinion that we are going to see a lot more discussion and interest in Magic the Gathering in general as a investable asset class. I think that it's in 2021 when this is being filmed. I think it's just this year is really like it's sparking it. A lot of times when cards go up in price, people have emotional reactions to it, and they think that they they feel bad because they may have missed out on potential money. But I think there's still a lot of money to be made in the Magic market. There is a lot of cards that are still too cheap, if to put it into simple words. So for Rudy, he identified this, long ago, over a decade ago. He identified that the Magic cards are going to go up. I don't think he or mostly any people have figured how fast the cards would appreciate in value or how good they are as a long-term store of value. I'm going to be doing a video on that at some point, talking about which cards are better as stores of value versus more, hit and miss things. Not just cards, but also, things like Magic artwork, sealed product, misprints, all that stuff. There's a lot of different types of investable assets in Magic, even memorabilia, merchandise. There's a big market for it, and there's a lot of deep pockets because people are starting to realize that if they put their money into Magic the Gathering cards slash miscellaneous Magic the Gathering stamped things, their money grows, and their money grows at a rate that outpaces inflation, and it grows at a rate that outpaces a lot of the stock market, and even things like real estate sometimes. I mean, there are certain Magic cards, if you look at graphs and charts, there are some Magic cards that have gone up astronomically higher than the average real estate does. So if you would put 10 years ago, if you would put all of your money, 100% of your portfolio into Magic the Gathering cards, you would have outperformed almost anything. So Rudy, his channel serves to educate people. He talks a lot in depth, from a personal point of view. He talks about how how his experiences have shaped him as an investor, how it affects his purchasing decisions. As if you watch his channel at all, he rarely sells anything as far as old reserve list investable things go, or sealed product. He doesn't really sell that stuff. He uses his channel as a way to funnel money in and to promote sales of other things. And whenever he acquires a large collection of cards, he will take out the investable ones. He'll take out the reserve list cards and he'll save those. He'll keep them. He just puts them somewhere and he keeps them. He enjoys them. He likes them. He sees them as a store of value. The way that many people see things like real estate, gold, or Bitcoin. And it wasn't really put on the map. So for many years, the reserve list has been around for many years, but since Chronicles, pretty much, and people really didn't talk about it 5, 6, 7 years ago. People started only talking about it in the last few years. Rudy's channel, I think, was the spark that started the fire of the reserve list. It's these 572 cards that can't be reprinted. What's on the reserve list is Temerian Fiends the same as Mox Pearl? They're both technically on the same list. So it just causes a whole lot of discussion about it that there wasn't there before. When I started playing, some 15 years ago, there was no talk about the reserve list. Nobody bought a dual land because it was seen as a store of value or as a commodity or investment. I mean, I bought my dual lands because I wanted them, and I think that's why Rudy bought them mostly in the back that he wanted them. And as time went on, he realized that they were probably too cheap. He scratched his head. He's like, these cards are just too cheap. And I think that's one of the things that inspired him to make the YouTube channel was actually just him having all these thoughts about Magic investing, Magic prices, trends, all that, and he wanted to like talk about it. Like he wanted to just share that with people out of passion. He didn't start the YouTube channel to like make money. He started out of like passion, and that's one of the things that I'm starting here with Great Whale Investing is that I want to just talk about Magic. And at times I'm going to be a little rambly. Maybe I don't have like an outline. I'm not going to edit it. I'm just going to be like click the record button and then turn off the record button, and you're going to get whatever's in between there. You can speed me up, slow me down, turn me off, mute me, whatever you want to do. But you're going to hear a lot of my thoughts about it, and I'm not going to try and copy Rudy by any means, but I definitely want to point out that Rudy was a huge beacon when it came to Magic finance. And there usually is, when it comes to big movements like this, there's usually one or a group of people that are like the flag bearers. They're the ones that everybody follows the footsteps in or like looks at to the example of. So I'm not necessarily going to be looking at Rudy's channel for like inspiration on what I should talk about or topics or anything like that, but I want to just point out that without him, there wouldn't really be much talk about Magic finance, as there wasn't years ago. It wasn't, underground C going from, $5 to $10 to $20 to $100 to $1,000. Whatever steps along the way it took, it wasn't like it hit one of those thresholds and then boom, everyone wanted to talk about Magic finance. Oh, underground C finally cracked 200. Today's the day we make a finance channel. No, it was just more like people becoming educated, people becoming interested, people becoming, taking a second look like, whoa, why is this card going up so much? And that one, which ones have gone down? And when it comes to the reserve list, good luck finding ones that have gone down. A lot of these price spikes recently have been more pronounced, and the retracements have been smaller. I'm going to be breaking down a lot of those price trends in future videos, but for this video particularly, I just wanted to acknowledge that there is going to be a large interest in these types of things, not just Magic, but in things like, Pokemon cards, other collectibles, sports cards, Yu-Gi-Oh, for instance. I think first edition Yu-Gi-Oh cards from the older sets are definitely still undervalued. Of course, I also think the same for Pokemon and Magic. Magic, the largest, I think, as far as undervalued original cards because of the small print run, the scarcity, and the diamond hands, as you say. A lot of the alpha and beta cards that are being bought are not being bought with the expectation to flip them or to resell them in a few years, even 5 or 10 years down the road. People are not going to be selling those cards. They are going to be holding them. A lot of times when an alpha or a beta card go on the market, it's absorbed and it's put into a vault, or it's put into a box, or it's put into a closet, whatever it is, a deck even, and people keep them. That's it. I've bought a few beta alpha cards, over the last few years. Not many, but some. And I just, no matter what happens with their price, I'm not going to sell them. It's just not going to happen. And there are people with far larger amounts of cash and money on hand, and that just don't need to sell them. They don't need to. They don't see the price go up and go, oh wow, I gotta sell it. I gotta go. It's a bubble. It's gonna fall. Nobody thinks that when they are buying an Alpha Birds of Paradise. It's just not. They're not the same kind of people that when they see the new Commander spoiler and they're like, oh, Hellkite Tyrant got reprinted. I better go sell my $30 Hellkite Tyrants before they fall to $15. So I think that there's a big difference. Not all Magic cards are created equal, and I think Rudy's channel shows that, and he illuminates that. He educates people. He educates people on the risks and the rewards and the pitfalls of investing and MTG Finance in general as a whole. And he really put the reserve list on the map. He put the fact that you can earn real money with Magic cards on the map. And he does it through investing, not by flipping. There's, I call it like MTG day trading, like where you buy the card, you flip the card, you buy the card, you flip the card. you see the new spoiler and you speculate, or you see the new spoiler and you say, oh, that card is broken with this card, so I'm gonna go buy 100 copies and see if it goes. Very different than investing. That's more speculating, and it's not what Rudy does. I don't do it either. I don't really partake in those short-term things. That's going to be another. I don't need to make more announcements of announcements. But in a future video, I'll be talking about long-term holding versus quick flipping and the benefits of both. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed the talk today, and see you for the next video.